stuff has the potential to completely kill mine and all of your games as well if you don't take it seriously. I wish I knew that the game's idea is always king. I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but I used to think that I see all these other game developers and amazing games come out with amazing thumbnails and cool ideas, and I'd be like, no, I don't need that. I don't care about any of that packaging stuff. I just care about writing cool code and really good code, maintainable code, naming everything properly, and I'm going to make everything as efficient as possible, and it's going to be perfect, and everyone's going to love it. Spoiler alert, no one cares. At all. People will play a buggy mess of a Pokemon game just because they love the idea of Pokemon. And more simply, no gamer cares what the code looks like of your game. They don't see it, they don't feel it. They're the parts you have to focus on. It's a very similar game to YouTube. If you make the best video ever but can't get people to click it and hook them in the first 5 seconds, it's game over. Now if you make the best game ever, it has tight controls, it's polished, it's got an amazing big boss fight on level 3, 2 hours into the game through a secret exit, it doesn't matter. If nothing makes the game special and stand out in a single sentence or 5-second gif, I hate that this is true, but you just won't be able to sell it over a shiny mysterious game that does. Even if it's actually terrible, or it's gonna fall apart in 5 seconds, or adding anything new breaks the whole game because the code is awful, you're still gonna lose that fight. This is called a hook, something you can use after luring people to your game to catch them like a fish into your net of purchases. The obvious issue here is that coming up with a great hook is really, really difficult. So how did I do it? I'm just a game developer. I love messing about with cool new algorithms or something weird and seeing what happens, right? I don't care about all this marketing stuff, or I didn't. I really love it now because I've had to put in the time over this year figuring it all out. Otherwise no one would ever be interested in this game. But I found a really cool way to cheat this whole system and just use my game development knowledge to just find amazing hooks naturally and organically without me having to study. Let's cheat the game dev way. If you believe that 1 in 10 of your ideas are truly something special, make those 10 games in 10 different game jams, find the one that sparks the most amount of joy, and run with it. If you think game ideas like Celeste or Stardew are once in a lifetime strokes of genius, 1 in a million ideas, guess what? Start making those million ideas in a million different game jams, find the one that works, and run with it. Now, unless your name begins with a J and ends in Onus Tie Roller, making a million games is an impossibility. Average lifespan of about 77 years. What the beep happened here? That's maybe 57 years working on games non-stop, 57 times 365 days, 20,805 times 24 hours, all over those million games gives us almost exactly 30 minutes per game. That's definitely not happening. The point is, from my experience, after only 10 to 20 games into your million, if you're doing it right, that'll be the point in which you don't need to make anymore and you'll have your gem. Maybe it's not the next Mario or Zelda or Dream Budgie 3D game, but it doesn't have to be. 20 games is a lot of incredible market research in the genre of games you want to be making. Use it. Okay, game 17 did twice as well as game 13. Why? Oh yeah, great, okay, because that's while I was making it, I could just feel in my gut it was better, you know? Okay, boom, great. I couldn't do that before. I couldn't look at 2 ideas and just know which one I personally can turn into that gem. But after this constant iteration, I'm a little bit better at it with each new game I make. Imagine how much you could know if you really did make those million. If that sounds like too much work, then in many ways I'm actually really sorry, because it does just take a lot of hard work and failing over and over again before you get anything worthwhile. And it always will. That said, I know you would like it to be less, and there are some really great ways to shortcut this process from maybe 20 down to 2. My favorite hack is just taking 2 unrelated games or ideas and forcing them to have an unholy code baby. The weirder the better, because weird is just another way of saying unusual, different, unique. My hooks are all fueled by weirdness. Seamless is Super Meat Boy crossed with Framed. What do these games have in common? Nothing. Not as much as I can tell anyway. How cool is their offspring? In my very biased opinion, really insane, really wacky, and perfect for something that will grab people's attention and love to play. And you guys agree with me. I then saw the best things from other games I've played and people have loved too. The speedrun aspect from Paddle Panic and the 2 colors from Budsia, both of which individually are pretty good games. I really enjoyed them, but when put together they've been a springboard to something even greater, and without them, Seamless just wouldn't exist. Be careful though, and this is a real warning, and you won't believe me right away when I say this, but sometimes that gem of weirdness can become too good, too overwhelming for you to be able to deal with, and no one will tell you how that feels and how to deal with it. I don't want to sit here and claim Seamless is the best game idea ever. It's really not, and it's also not the best game ever, but at the time it came out and it had 70,000 views, it's a ridiculously huge number that I personally wasn't prepared for, and it was too big for me. The insane attention and praise this game would receive, and the stresses that come from that, it's the best thing that's ever happened, but I still wish someone told me how to get ready for it. It's life-changing for the better, But don't forget, that still means it's life-changing, and change is really, really hard. Knowing that there's so many people out there that want an improved version of this game when I'm just normally making games for fun, it makes it feel like a proper job now. It's an amazing mindset shift to have, to be able to switch over to this is a job now, let's do it properly. But again, I don't know what I'm doing before I made this game. I didn't really want to have to learn how to do this, I'm just having fun. But learning how to do it has become really, really, really helpful. The only reason I'm telling you all this is because no matter how unlikely and insane it seems for all this to happen, I was you. I am you. And this exact thing happened to me by following the steps I'm recommending to you in this video. So please be careful. And if you ever have any setbacks or hardships or anything, my Discord is always open. Please come and say hi. I'd love to help you in any way that I can. If I can help you, of course. And I really wish I could tell my younger self to start doing it all about 5 years sooner. Game dev is not a simple process. I think it's a misconception that I and many others had that making games is easy just because I enjoy coding already. Making demos is easy. Making 24-hour game jam projects is pretty easy. Game engines like Unity, Godot, Construct 3 all now make this the best time in history to make a fun experience anyone can enjoy. This is not how you make a fully released game though. These engines lure you into a false sense of security that everything is as easy as that first 24 hours. But spoiler alert again, they aren't. Imagine you had to build a house, but only had 48 hours to do it, and then that the house would be demolished anyway at the end of the week. Would you bother with proper insulation for your walls or, pipes in the bathroom properly? Are you really gonna pick out the perfect colour for the paint on the outside and scrub it till it's spotless? If you would, great, give me your number, here's the materials, you can start Monday. But being honest with yourself, you know that you would just throw all the garbage in there until it works. It would be held together with duct tape and a crazy holy bow praying that it doesn't fall apart. You'd look at it, love your hard work that you made something so quickly, but you wouldn't really be booking any paying tenants anytime soon so they can come poke around while the whole thing collapses. That house is seamless right now. I love it. You love it, which is the best thing ever. But the code is a janky, buggy, awful mess tied together by said duct tape and holy bow. This is called spaghetti code because it's all tangled and awfully hard to understand. We want clean spaghetti, I mean code. Clean code? Not clean spaghetti. That'd probably be disgusting. We want this so adding new features and working with other people is as easy as possible. So with our spaghetti code, we can either sit here and untangle what we already have, one strand at a time, which no, thank you. No, thank you. Just no. Or we can regretfully and painfully delete this whole project and start again. But this is actually great news. It means our failure, our time spent going backwards, is actually needed progress forwards. Don't look at it as scrapping the work you've already done, but instead that it would have eventually needed to all be scrapped anyway. And it's much better to scrap it today than tomorrow. It's not just okay to try lots of different methods and fail a few times, it's absolutely essential. We just extract what worked from this failed attempt and pump it into the next one, where fingers crossed slightly less will go catastrophically wrong, repeating this over and over and over and over again. We're currently on the 4th version and 2nd game engine for Seamless right now, but eventually this will result in something amazing in not too much time, which makes me extremely proud. There's a lot of other stuff that I didn't even know existed until I had to deal with it though, and all of this stuff has the potential to completely kill mine and all of your games as well if you don't take it seriously. Yeah. How's that for some fun? Did you know, for example, seamless is actually a trademarked word here in the UK by a hair extension company, keychains, and educational and entertainment videos. That might be a problem. Luckily that last one is actually a dead patent. This is definitely not legal advice. Do not listen to me at all on this, please. I don't want to go to jail, thank you very much. But Unity definitely doesn't go and advertise that in their how to make a kart game racing easy tutorial mega pack thingy that you might get sued out of existence purely for a name that you came up with in 5 minutes a year ago completely randomly. And you might think I'm going crazy here, like you would never actually get sued for this. But it happened just a few weeks ago to another indie dev. This game developer originally called their game Yomi Hustle, which ended up being a pretty cut and dry trademark infringement. There was nothing they could do about it. And they ended up having to change the name of the game entirely just before it was about to get released. I can't even imagine how stressful that must have been. So you have to be really careful in your next game jam. If you've got a game that you think just like Seamless you might want to develop more, and then you realize that the name Seamless is actually taken and you can't use it, and all of your marketing and videos and game dev stuff is all linked around that name and you've already opened a Steam page, yeah, you can see how this could get annoying very quickly, which is another thing I just didn't even know to check for before. Working in a new team also has some real unseen challenges. Giving over control of programming to someone else is a huge deal, but it's the best thing that could have ever happened because without this demo Nero made, this whole project wouldn't exist. And this year that we've spent making this game now could realistically have been a month, or even less if we went all in. But that's life. Burnout is a huge issue I wish I realized before trying to get into it. Knowing this, as this project's lead, I've tried my best to try and outright force these two to not work, to try and stop them, because I don't want anyone to be in pain or in burnout through this project. I want everyone to stay healthy and have time off. Don't even get me started on the legal aspects of working in a multinational team too. Just don't. I really hope this has managed to help someone out there. If it has, please let me know. But before you go, here is a sneak peek of what we've done so far and some amazing new features that we think you're gonna love. And as always, I hope I've helped you have some happier coding, everyone.